Hi there.
Can I help at all?
What do you mean?
So I've been told there's a coin you're trying to pay with.
Yeah.
Can I just...
Yeah.
Just trying to work out where... So it's that coin there, yeah? Commemorative?
Yeah.
So there's no value to them in our currency.
You think?
So they're commemorative, they're for display purposes only, they're not actually a form of payment.
Okay.
So we can't obviously take that as a payment in store.
Okay.
So obviously, is there an alternative payment obviously we can take for the...
No, that's the only payment I'm offering, I'm afraid.
Okay. So obviously if you have another payment of that, obviously we can take details, we can put it through our system, which gives you 7 days to come back and pay with another alternative.
No, I'm not prepared to give you my private details when I've got a means of payment.
But it's not a actual one we're registered for. So if it's not a current currency which we accept, obviously it's a commemorative one, it's not, it's a display purposes, it's not actually a form of payment. It has a value if you buy it, because you can buy them for £140.
Yeah.
But it's nothing that is designed actually to go into a till to be used.
Right.
So we can only obviously accept the form of currency we have. So the maximum obviously is in that form would be in notes of 10, 5, 10, 20 and 50.
Right. So it seems to me though that you've allowed me to take a service and then pay for it later.
Yeah.
And then when I'm offering a legitimate means of payment,
It's not a legit payment, it's a commemorative coin.
then you're kind of refusing to accept payment.
Because it's not a form of payment that's acceptable. It's a commemorative coin, it's not actually a form of payment.
So if I was to fill up my car with fuel,
Yep.
right, this is an illustration, okay? If I was to fill up my car with fuel and then come in with a £50 note,
Yep.
and you say, oh sorry, there's so many forgeries, we don't accept £50 notes. If you said, I'm sorry, for whatever reason, there's so many forgeries or whatever, we don't accept £50 notes.
Yep. So we've got a system in
No,
there.
I know that. I'm talking about as an illustration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you think that would work then? Just because you feel you can pick and choose which notes that you want to accept. When I owe the money and when I'm offering a legitimate form of payment, then you're kind of refusing it. In the same way, if you said, some businesses,
it's just not a valid form.
Well, some businesses say, oh, we won't accept £50 notes, for example.
We accept them.
Yeah, I know you do, but some businesses don't,
Yeah.
right? Okay, but if they offered you a service first, right, and then when you went to pay with your £50 note, they refused to accept it, how do you think that would work then?
Whereas also ways you can go to a post office or a bank to exchange it, but if you went to a bank, would they exchange it?
I don't think the banks have to actually.
Or a post office would?
I don't think the banks or post offices have to.
Within reason, they have the same checks as others. If it's not valid, then obviously you have the right to then refuse it, but we have those processes, but that's not a valid form. So the example doesn't actually...
It's quite interesting because, well, I think I understand it different to you, and I think that I don't mean to contradict you, but I think my understanding of it's correct and your one's wrong.
Right. But is that actually a form that's actually being advertised or administered to the world to say this is a form of payment, like they do with every form of
Well, you
coins?
should know that. Are you the manager? Are you the manager?
I am the manager. I'm saying
you should know that.
We're advertised. It's not a form that we've been told.
As the country's biggest retailer and a manager of the country's biggest retailer, you would have thought you'd at least know the basic principles of the monetary system.
Well, yeah, I know it's a commemorative coin. It's got Buckingham Palace on it. It's designed to be commemorative of a certain form, but it's not a form of payment we would take.
Right.
It's the same as now the old £5 notes. It was valid then, but they decided to remake them, so we're not going to accept them anymore. We have to take the new ones. They haven't launched that as a new form of payment, so we're not accepting it as a company.
Okay. Well, it's a bit of a stalemate, really. It's a bit of a stalemate, I'm afraid, because I'm not going to fill out your no means to pay form because I have got means to pay. I'm not going to give you my name and address or anything.
That's fine. We get the details of the car, and then it'll be processed to the police or the courts.
Okay.
That's how we'll process it then.
But then
the driver, so it'll be a
well, it wouldn't be, would it? Because I'm not driving off yet. Anyway, am I?
No, I'm saying that. Until what happens, you decide what to do. That was the process. What happens if you do leave the forecourt without paying?
But I am paying. I'm offering to
But
pay.
not
But
with a
you're
valid-
refusing to accept the valid payment.
It's not a valid payment.
No, but you think it's not a valid payment, but I know it is a valid payment.
Okay. How can you prove it's valid?
But I shouldn't have to teach you that. Your company should teach you that. That's the point.
Okay. But
You know, I shouldn't have to come in and give a lesson to country's biggest retailer and manager of the store
okay. Fair
about the basic principles of our currency system, should I?
But we
Just for
haven't-
you to accept my form of payment. Do you understand what I mean? So,
It's not a valid form. That's not
well, you
valid
think it's not a valid form, but how do you know that it's not a valid form?
because it's a commemorative coin.
Yeah, but how do you know that you don't accept commemorative coins? You've made that decision on your own, haven't you?
No, we've been told by our office it's only a valid form. We can only accept the ones, twos, fives, tens, 20s, 50s, pounds, £2, 5, 10s, and 20s and 50s.
50 what, pounds?
£50 notes.
Oh, 50, what about £50 coins? Do you accept those?
No, so it's only the notes. So after the £2 coin, we don't accept anything further apart from the notes currently.
Right.
Same for the future, it could be a valid form, but at the current time, it's not a form we accept.
But the problem is, right, it is legal tender, it is a valid form of payment. You know, like if I went into the main supermarket and got a trolley load full of food and then got to the till and then I offered to pay with that, right, you say, no, I don't want to accept that. And I'd say, well, okay. And you don't have to accept it because you can just take the goods back, can't you?
So what would you do if you went to the bank and tried to cash into a bank?
Hang on, let me just finish my little story here. So you could take the goods back because they're not mine, are they? Until I've taken, and they're not mine because I haven't paid for them, have I? Right. But in the case of this case, I filled my car up with diesel, and you can't take the diesel back out of my car, can you?
Right.
So because the agreement is that I take the fuel and then go and pay the cashier afterwards, isn't it? So
Valid form, which is the principle of anything you go to a shop.
yeah, but you think it's not a valid form, but I think it is.
Okay.
So
So what's the solution from here?
well.
I'm not going to accept the coin, so what's the solution?
Well, it's up to you, but there's no good waiting for me to drive off and then phone the police. You might as well phone the police now then.
If that's what you want to do.
I don't want you to do that because I think it'd be a waste of police time, but I think that you should,
So what happens if the police came?
well, I'd imagine the police would come along. They'd probably want me to identify myself because even though I'm on private property, I probably don't have to. Because I'm driving a vehicle, I probably have to. But they wouldn't divulge my details to you. I don't know how the police deal with it because they probably haven't come across this problem before.
Well, I can speak to my superiors and see what they say.
Yeah, but
Okay,
tell
from
them
there.
that I'm refusing any other payment and this is my only form of payment, yeah? Okay, thanks very much. Hiya.
I spoke to one of my senior managers. He's saying it'll say it's not a form of payment we accept.
Right.
So he said if nothing's going to happen, there's no other form you've got, then it'll be the police we've approved proceed to. So we'll just give them a call now just to let you know. All right?
All right. So, I mean, I have offered to pay,
Yep.
so you can't say I refuse to pay.
Oh, no.
It's just,
I'll say the story exactly.
yeah, well, I've recorded it just so that we know, yeah. So I haven't refused to pay, I've offered to pay. I
Yep.
think it's legitimate coin, but you're saying it's not. So you can't actually say that I've stolen the fuel or refused to pay because I haven't, and that's on evidence.
Just pre-warn you, do have to make sure I'm aware that you're recording.
Yeah, well, just let you know, yeah.
Well, you did that after I did the whole conversation, so that's not actually quite correct. But yeah, we'll let you know.
Okay.